Hello everybody. So today I am continuing games that can be made at home out of things that you have just laying around. Today's example, we have a regular old piece of cardboard, nothing fancy. Used a Sharpie to draw the outline of a ship and a few lines across it. You can go ahead and count them out, mark them down. A dozen or so is what's typically been found on the few boards that are out there. So this game is Daldos. It is a tab style game, meaning that the pieces will run around chasing each other and try to land on each other as a capture. It's been found in Novgorod grave sites and English Abbey manuscripts, and even carved into the Mary Rose on an oak barrel top. They did use four-sided dice. So this is an example, just a regular old rectangle with tapered ends. And for making it home, I kind of hesitated because not a lot of people have rectangles laying around. This was a piece of 2x2 that I went ahead and just marked up. But you can use Play-Doh, make a rectangle, or any number of things. It's basically rectangular-ish. If you wanted to use just a regular six-sided die, that's great. Just ignore the 5 or the 6 and re-roll, because it's really 1 through 4. All right, gameplay. It's really simple. What you ultimately want to do is roll the dice, which is a mighty roll there. I'm a little lame, I'll do better. And your goal is to get a 1, or if you're using the period style, an X, whichever way. I'll set those guys out of the side for now. What the 1 does, or the X, is it activates your piece, showing that it can now take movement from the dice. In this case of a 4, you have to roll the entirety, or move the entirety of the 4. You cannot split it out to have a 2 and a 2, or a 1 and a 3, or anything like that. So 1, 2, 3, 4. The concept is that the pieces will move along their row, up the center. When they get to this point, these rocks will enter back down this way if they possibly can. Pieces cannot move until they've been activated, meaning you're going to need a whole lot of 1s. Also meaning there's some pieces that are going to get stuck out in the middle and potentially landed on. So that was the rock's turn. Go ahead and do pennies. In this case, they did not roll a 1, so they have no pieces that they can move yet. We'll go back to the rocks with a 3 and a 1. Usually a good idea to use that 1 anytime you can. And then 1, 2, 3. Rocks are moving right along. We have our 1 and a 4 for the pennies finally. Hooray! So you can activate. Notice that I was heads up, or heads down. So that's my 1. Then 1, 2, 3, 4. The penny is now giving chase to the rock. Ultimately, as the pieces start to build up, they may get to a point where the pennies and the rocks, we'll just put a couple out here to show gameplay. And we'll activate these guys, show that they've kind of worked their way down. So in a scenario like that, you'll have a lot of congestion build up in that middle row. In the case where it's, say, the rock's turn, you have a 4 and a 2. So you have a lot of options that can be made here. This rock cannot move because it cannot jump its opponent, or its own side. You can only jump your opponent's. So that guy is stuck. This one, you go 1, 2, and that's fine. 3, 4, and land on that one and take the penny off the board because you can jump your opponents. In this case now, there's a 2 to be played, and this rock can move. The reason for that, or you might want to do that, is because ultimately these pennies will start coming off the other side, and you're staging and waiting to get behind them. So now it's the penny's turn. With a 4 and a 1, this penny here, So 1, 2, 3, 4. Take that one out, and then use that 1 to either move out or do another activation. Pretty straightforward. Eventually, it will get to where the pieces are lined up in the middle. This rock cannot return to its own line until those are activated. So things get kind of mean out in the middle here. The middle of the game is fairly fast-paced, and the start is a little slow until you get all those ones, but it really is a strategic game in terms of a hunt and chase type game. In all, plays pretty well. It's fun. We've played it lots of times before. Always had a blast. Hope you do too. Thanks so much for watching.